Imagine sitting alone at night in New York City. The room silent. The screen glowing. The Epstein files finally open to the public. You start reading. Names. Flight logs. Black bars covering entire truths. Then suddenly, the words on your screen begin to change. A sentence appears that was not there before. You are part of the archive now. Your phone vibrates. No caller ID. A voice whispers, "Stop looking." What if the files were never meant to reveal the truth? What if they were meant to reveal you? Tonight, we uncover what is hidden behind the redactions, and why opening the Epstein files might be more dangerous than keeping them closed. The Epstein files are open, but the truth is still hidden. The headline glowed against the dark screen. The Epstein files are open, but the truth is still hidden. I read it again, and again. The room felt smaller. The hum of my computer fan grew louder. A thin vibration under the desk, like something restless. It was past midnight. The city outside my apartment window in New York City had gone quiet. Only the distant wail of a siren cut through the air.
Sharp, brief, gone.
On the screen, scanned documents filled the page. Black bars covered names. Thick and deliberate, like strips of tape across a mouth. I leaned closer. The blue light from the monitor washed over my face.
Cold.
Unforgiving. My reflection hovered over the text. A ghost layered on top of secrets. I scrolled. Pages and pages. Flight logs.
Dates.
Initials. Fragments of conversations. Each line felt heavy, as if the words carried fingerprints. The name of Jeffrey Epstein appeared again and again, like a stain that would not fade. My mouth tasted metallic, as if fear had a flavor. I remembered the footage from Metropolitan Correctional Center. Gray walls. Harsh lights. A cell that felt too small for the weight of its occupant. The official statements had sounded firm.
Clear.
Final. Yet here I was, reading files that were meant to answer questions, and finding only more silence. A draft of a deposition caught my eye. A paragraph abruptly cut off. The last sentence ended mid-thought. No signature. No explanation. I felt a pulse in my neck. Slow at first, then faster. I adjusted my chair. It creaked loudly in the stillness. Too loud. I glanced at my apartment door.
Closed. Locked.
Deadbolt in place. Still, I felt exposed, as if someone else was reading with me, watching my reaction. I scrolled further. A list of visitors. Familiar surnames. Powerful. Untouchable. Every important detail seemed wrapped in ink. Redacted. Sealed. Protected. The files were open. That was what the headline promised. Open to the public. Open to scrutiny. Open to justice. But the truth lay buried beneath layers of black lines. Like a body under wet soil. I enlarged one image. A handwritten note. The edges were torn. The ink smudged. The date barely visible. My screen flickered.
Once. Twice.
The lights in my room dimmed for a second. A power fluctuation. Or something else. My breath slowed. Then held. In the margin of the note, a phrase remained uncovered. 3 words. We all knew. I stared at it. My skin prickled. The air felt thick. Hard to pull into my lungs. We all knew.
Who was we?
Who still knows? I scrolled down rapidly. My fingers trembled on the mouse. The next page refused to load. A blank white screen replaced the documents. Then a small notification appeared. Access restricted. My heart pounded. The files were supposed to be public. Released. Transparent. I refreshed the page. Nothing changed. The silence in the room deepened. No sirens now. No traffic. Just the steady hum of electricity in the walls. And then, a new window opened on its own. No logo. No header. Only a single line of text. You are looking in the wrong place. My hands went cold. A faint reflection moved behind me in the screen. A shadow where there should have been empty space. I did not turn around. I could not. The message on the screen shifted. Another line appeared. Some doors are meant to stay closed. The air near my ear felt warmer, as if someone was standing just behind my chair, breathing softly, close enough to touch. The files are open, but the truth is still hidden. And now I understood. The documents were never the real vault. The real vault was silence.
Fear. Complicity.
I felt a sudden vibration in my pocket. My phone. I had not given anyone this number for weeks. The screen displayed no caller ID, only an empty black background. The vibration continued, relentless, demanding. I answered.
Slowly. Carefully.
There was no greeting, no static, only breathing, measured.
Calm.
Then a whisper. You should stop reading. My throat tightened. I tried to speak. No sound came out. The whisper returned. They are watching who opens the files. The call ended. The line went dead. The computer screen flickered again. The documents reappeared. But something had changed. The redacted bars were thicker now, wider, as if more had been erased while I watched. The phrase in the margin was gone. We all knew had vanished, replaced by solid black ink. My reflection stared back at me,
Pale.
eyes wide. The files were open. Yes, technically open, but every path toward the center curved away, like a maze that protects its secret. I leaned back slowly. The warmth behind me remained, close, persistent, and in the quiet hum of my apartment in New York City, I began to hear something else. A faint clicking, not from the keyboard, not from the walls, from inside the computer, like a camera shutter, capturing, recording, saving my face, saving the exact moment I realized that opening a file is not the same as uncovering the truth, and that some truths do not hide in documents. They hide in the people who decide what the documents are allowed to say. The clicking grew faster, matching the rhythm of my heart, and on the screen, a final line slowly typed itself out. You are part of the record now. The Epstein files are open, but the truth is still hidden. The headline glowed against the dark screen. The Epstein files are open, but the truth is still hidden. I stared at the words until they blurred. The light from my monitor painted my apartment in a pale blue haze. Outside my window in New York City, the streets were unusually quiet. No laughter, no traffic. Only the distant hum of the city breathing in its sleep. I leaned closer to the screen. The files had been released to the public. That was what every outlet claimed.
Transparency at last.
Justice unfolding. Yet as the first scanned page loaded, my stomach tightened. Official letterhead. Court stamps. Typed paragraphs in rigid alignment. And then the black bars. Heavy. Opaque. Relentless. Whole names erased. Entire sentences swallowed. The name of Jeffrey Epstein appeared repeatedly between the redactions. A stain that refused to wash away. My finger trembled slightly on the mouse wheel as I scrolled. Flight logs surfaced.
Dates.
Coordinates. References to a private island. Fragments of testimony. Some witnesses sounded terrified even in cold text. Others sounded rehearsed. Every page felt incomplete, like a puzzle with the centerpieces removed. The hum of my computer grew louder in my awareness. A low mechanical murmur, almost like a whisper trapped inside metal. I became conscious of my own breathing.
Slow.
Measured. Too loud in the silence of the room. A siren echoed faintly in the distance. It rose and fell, then disappeared. I remembered the sterile images of Metropolitan Correctional Center shown on television. Gray concrete walls. Fluorescent lights that never dimmed. A cell that had become the center of endless speculation. Official statements had promised clarity, yet clarity felt absent here. I opened a deposition transcript. The questions were precise.
Direct.
The answers, however, dissolved into black ink. Paragraph after paragraph reduced to silence. The redactions looked deliberate, strategic, protective. Protective of whom? My chair creaked as I shifted my weight.
The sound startled me.
I glanced toward the hallway leading to my bedroom.
Dark. Still.
The apartment door behind me was locked. I had checked it twice earlier. Still, unease crawled along my spine. I returned to the screen. A scanned handwritten note caught my attention. The ink appeared hurried, the edges of the paper torn. In the margin, 3 words remained uncovered. We all knew. The rest of the sentence was buried under a thick black strip. I leaned closer until my reflection merged with the page. We all knew. The phrase felt accusatory, as if directed at me, as if I had been present at some invisible meeting. My mouth felt dry. I swallowed and tasted something metallic. The screen flickered once. The light in the room dimmed for a brief second, then steadied. A faint clicking noise emerged from beneath my desk.
Soft.
Rhythmic, like a camera shutter.
Click, click, click.
I froze. The sound continued. I crouched slightly to look at the computer tower. Nothing unusual. No blinking warning lights. No error messages. When I looked back at the monitor, the handwritten note had changed. The 3 visible words were gone, covered now in black, as if someone had noticed my attention and corrected the oversight. My pulse quickened. I refreshed the page. The documents reloaded. More redactions than before. Entire sections now unreadable. A small notification appeared in the corner of the screen. Access restricted. My chest tightened. The files had been declared public. Open for examination. Open for scrutiny. Yet here was a barrier.
Sudden.
Unexplained. The clicking grew faster, matching the beat of my heart. I felt warmth at the back of my neck, as if someone stood too close behind me, close enough to feel their breath. I resisted the urge to turn around. Slowly, another window opened on the screen. Blank background. No logo. No header. Only text appearing letter by letter. You are reviewing sensitive material. My fingers went cold. I did not type. I did not move the mouse. Another sentence formed. Viewing is being logged. A surge of panic shot through me. I reached for my phone on the desk. It vibrated the moment my hand touched it. No caller ID. No number displayed. I answered cautiously. Hello. Silence filled the line. Then breathing.
Calm.
Measured. Unhurried. My grip tightened. Who is this? A voice responded softly. You should not look for what is hidden. The line went dead. I stared at the screen again. The documents had begun to scroll on their own. Names flashed past. Dates blurred. Black bars multiplied across every page. The clicking sound intensified. Louder.
Faster.
The hallway behind me creaked. A slow, deliberate shift of weight. My heart pounded in my ears. The apartment no longer felt empty. The air felt occupied. Observed. On the monitor, a final line appeared beneath the scrolling documents. You are part of the archive now. The words settled heavily in my mind. The files were open.
Yes.
Technically open. But the truth was sealed behind power. Behind silence. Behind invisible watchers who tracked curiosity itself. The screen brightness dimmed gradually. The clicking slowed, then steadied into a calm, deliberate rhythm. Another sentence began typing across the black background. We see who seeks the truth. The sentence lingered on the screen. We see who seeks the truth. The clicking stopped. Silence rushed in to replace it. A deep, suffocating silence that pressed against my ears. I finally turned around. The hallway stood empty. The bedroom door unmoved. The apartment as still as it had been all night. Yet the feeling of presence remained. Like heat left behind after someone steps away. I faced the monitor again. My reflection stared back at me. Wide eyes. Tense jaw. A stranger illuminated in blue light. The black bars across the documents seemed thicker now. Heavier. Almost textured. As if layered again and again to bury something that kept trying to surface. My phone rested quietly beside the keyboard. No new notifications. No missed calls. As if the voice had never existed. I placed my hand over the mouse. The plastic felt cold. Grounding.
Real.
The cursor blinked over the final line. You are part of the archive now. A realization settled slowly inside me. The threat was not physical. It was informational. Subtle. Systematic. The archive did not require chains. It required awareness. A record of who looked, who questioned, who noticed the gaps between sentences. I moved the cursor to the browser tab, hovered over the small X in the corner. For a moment, I hesitated. Closing the files felt like surrender. Keeping them open felt like defiance. My heartbeat steadied. The fear that had gripped me began to shift, transforming into something else. A quiet understanding. The files were never meant to reveal everything. They were meant to satisfy, to create the appearance of openness, to let the public believe the vault had been unlocked, while the true secrets remained elsewhere. In conversations never recorded, in rooms without cameras, in agreements sealed without ink. The truth was not hidden in a document. It was hidden in the architecture of power itself. The screen flickered once more, then stabilized. The ominous text faded away. The documents returned to their original state. Black bars. Official stamps. Silence on paper. Nothing moved anymore. No typing. No clicking. Only the low hum of the machine. Ordinary. Unremarkable. I exhaled slowly. A breath I felt I had been holding for hours. The apartment seemed to expand again. The walls less oppressive. The air easier to draw into my lungs. Outside, a distant car passed. Tires against pavement. A reminder of a world still moving forward. I looked once more at the headline at the top of the page. The Epstein files are open, but the truth is still hidden. The statement felt less like a warning now, more like a diagnosis. The openness was procedural, the secrecy structural. I closed the laptop gently. The blue light vanished. Darkness settled over the room. Not threatening, just quiet. I stood and walked to the window. The city lights of New York City shimmered in the distance. Countless windows, countless lives, most unaware of the invisible networks shaping what they are allowed to see. I realized something simple. Truth does not disappear when concealed. It waits. It survives in questions, in doubt, in the refusal to accept redacted lines as final answers. The archive may record who seeks, but seeking itself is not a crime. It is a beginning. Behind me, the closed laptop made no sound. No glow escaped its edges. If I opened it again, the files would still be there. Black bars intact. Silences preserved. And somewhere beyond those digital pages, the real story would continue unfolding. Not loudly, not publicly, but persistently. Hidden does not mean gone, and open does not mean free. The night air against the glass felt cool beneath my fingertips. Steady.
Real.
I remained there for a long moment, listening to the ordinary sounds of the city, grounded again in the physical world. The fear had faded. What remained was clarity. The truth was not waiting inside a file. It was waiting inside those willing to keep asking why the black bars exist at all.